Right, hopefully this is working. Yes, let's go. Alright, let's just see. Wait for people to join, because it's just me in here. Alright, let's just see. Wait for people to join. Higgsy! First one in. You alright? Just gonna wait till a couple more people join. Maybe I'll wait till Jin joins. Hey, Deco. And Jin. Okay, look, we've got 5 people in. That was pretty quick. Okay, let's go through the grid. So this is round 3, tier 3, season 14. Claus is our current championship leader. Quite a big lead at the moment. I think it was like something like 14 points going into this race. We're at Daytona, our first high-speed bop of the race, but our first high-speed of the next 4 races, because we've got Gardens next, which is medium speed. Then we've got Spa and Bathurst, which are both high-speed tracks. So a little bit of an adjusted bop for some of these cars. So some of them will be a little bit quicker, maybe. Some of them will be a little bit slower because they don't have the top-end speed. One of the slowest ones is Zimmer, who is in the Mitsubishi. I don't think it's got very good top speed, so that makes sense why it's qualified at the back there. And then G-Dan in the Porsche. We know the Porsche struggles at the top end, although it did get pole position in Tier 2, but that was heavily assisted lap. Then we got Cameron in the Gen X. Gen X is all right at top speed. Cameron, obviously, one of the championship contenders as well, but he had a pretty poor showing. He's currently the highest Tier 3 driver in the ALR rankings as well. So expected at least in the top 10 for him. So should progress through the sprint race. Then we got the first Toyota, the Toyota GR Supra, Pasty. Had a horrible week last week and not doing too much better this week, qualifying in P11 when that car is capable of more. We've got Jin P10. This is a poor qualifying for Jin. He is usually qualifying in second, right next to his teammate, but only managed 10th in this one. But we do know that the AMG isn't too quick around here, usually. We got the Audi R8 of Senor Fak. What a name. Yeah, in the Audi. Yeah, that's that. Also, up at P8 in the Mazda RX Vision, got pretty good top speed. Yuri, Pasty's teammate, is in P7. And then we got Deco, who performed so well last week, is in 6th in the Lexus. Just behind his teammate Monty in 5th, always qualifies pretty well, Monty. And we got 4th place for Higgsy in the first of, God, what is that car? Is it the Porsche? It might be the other Porsche, yeah. So he's actually managed to get a good qualifying out of it. P3 for Aero in the Z4. I think the Z4 is pretty good around here. I was battling a lot with him in one of the sprint races for quite a while, so he's got some good pace. Then we've got Peachy. Arex Peachy, one of the Arex boys. He was in Tier 2 last season in the Ferrari. He's dropped down to Tier 3. This is his first race of the season, and he is in the brand new car for GT7, but it's a very old car, the Honda NSX GT500. Really good around here, so I'm not surprised that he's qualified on the front row. And then we've got Claus in the Mercedes AMG in P1, once again on pole position. So doing everything he can in qualifying. Porsche livery is camouflage, yeah. Maybe they're ashamed to be on the Porsche. That's why there's no badges or branding. So yeah, 15 minutes. Let's get going. It was a very good qualifying for Claus in terms of championship battles. His championship contenders are a little bit further back, and he's got Peachy alongside him. So the two guys who dropped down from Tier 2 to Tier 3 last season on the front row. Let's see. It is a nighttime race at Daytona as the lights go on, and lights out, away we go. Someone false started. It looks like Monty was the one that false started, so he's going to drop back a little bit. I think he got bumped by Yuri, actually, but Claus and Botifumairo got a very good start, and dropping a little bit back there is Peachy, because we know the Honda doesn't start too well. It looks like Claus is going to get in front of Botta into turn 1. Peachy's managed to only lose one position in, and then it's a big gaggle. Jin all the way up to P5 there off the start from P10. Monty's in 6th. Zimmer and Deco battling there, and everyone is really close together here. Deco going for a lunge on his teammate to try and get that position back. But yeah, really good start there for Jin. Let's actually go back and watch Jin's start on board, because that was fantastic. We know that the AMG has a pretty good start off the line. Yuri's going backwards there. Okay, so he didn't actually hit the back of Monty. I just don't know what was going on with a lot of these guys. But yeah, it just made it really easy. Jin decides to go on the inside, as inside as he could possibly get, and Monty gives him the space, actually. So just really easy off the line there. Nothing too special apart from getting the start incredibly right, and then everyone else just kind of parted for Jin there. And now he's on the back of Higgsy, going into turn 3 or 4. I don't even know what the numbers are, but yeah, let's carry on. Let's see at the front, is Claus going to get away from Botta at the start of this race? He does have the better car, it's got to be said, but I think Botta might have better straight line speed, but he's got to get a bit closer to Claus if he's going to get in the slipstream. Excuse me. Jin currently in P5 has got off track, and Monty's going to go along the outside and try and move around the outside of the next corner as we head into the oval section. Jin leaves enough space. Monty goes a little bit off track there, but he does get a much better exit, and Deco's going to follow him on the high line there, and Monty's up into P5 as it stands. These 4 cars, including G-Dan, who we haven't seen anything of so far this race, really close together. Let's join on board with Deco and see what happens in the run down to the bus stop. Monty's ahead, G-Dan's overtaking Jin, and now Deco's thinking of it. Deco backs out. Jin is going side by side with G-Dan, but has to back out as well, and gets in the way of Deco, so Deco can't get that good of an exit. But Jin has a good little slingshot. He might be able to get past G-Dan here. See Bottas falling a little bit further back as well up front. Let's join that battle. Looks like Peachy's going to have a move into turn 1. For P2, he's going to retake it back off Botifumairo. He's going around the outside. Bottas got the inside line for the braking zone, and it looks like he's going to keep the position for now. Looks like G-Dan got past Jin as well behind, and Zimmer and Deco are having a little battle, but we're going to stick with these guys. Bottas still just got the position. Peachy's got to do something to get past him, and this might be a problem that'll plague Peachy during the sprint races this season that he competes in, because this car doesn't start well off the line, and he's going to have to battle to get past these people. G-Dan went from 13th to 5th in 1 lap. I think, is it worth? Yeah, let's go back and see that then. From 13th. Okay. Let's ride on board with him. So there was, yeah, so G-Dan's taken advantage of all of the errors that everyone's making, but he's only up into 12th, so he's not had that good a start compared to Jin. He's going to go around the outside of Pasty here, and he's taken the outside line, which is really risky going into turn 1, because you could just get pushed off the track, which he nearly does by Cameron. Cameron instead slides and hits Pasty and gets out of the way for G-Dan. So that was another easy pass there for G-Dan. Going into turn 4, I think this is, and he's just going to go for it, and the space was left for him. He got 2 positions in 1 corner there. Now how's he going to get past Zimmer here? I'm pretty sure he must get past him before the... yeah, he's going for it again. He's just putting his car there. Zimmer left the door wide open, and he just takes another position fairly easily. Jin goes off track there. And then we're going to go back up here, because this is where they were having a battle. So he manages to get past Deco. He's bumping Jin. there's one position. Now, what's going to happen with Monty and Jin here? He already got past Jin, which we saw. Now, is he going to get Monty? He's getting bumped by Jin, so he's got a chance. He's got the overspeed. So how is he going to get Monty to turn one? He still looks pretty far away. Monty's leaving the door open once again, so he's just going to... Well, actually... Nearly got pushed through turn one by Jin. But he got a better exit than Monty, so he might have a go into this next corner here. Oh, he's going to have to tuck in behind. But he's putting loads of pressure on Monty, and this is where we were when I hit the rewind button, so let's keep watching. Really impressive actually in the Porsche to get that good a start, because usually the Porsches go backwards because their starts are so bad, but it seemed like everyone had a horrendous start for one reason or another. Oh, he goes really wide onto the exit, in the entry, sorry. Monty loses a bit of traction on the exit, so he doesn't get to pull away as much as he should have. We've got Higgsy in P4, looks like he's chasing down Peachy, so Peachy's had a horrible infield section. So let's see what Higgsy's going to do here. The problem is I don't think Higgsy's got the beans in his car to be challenging this Honda on the straight, so even if he gets a better exit, I would expect Peachy to start gapping him, because he's in the Porsche, so it's not so great. Monty's managed to gap G down a little bit. Then we got Jin. Deco putting pressure on Jin now. And he goes for the bump draft. Deco doesn't want to settle for P7. He wants to make further progress up the field. So he knows he has to work with some of these drivers in the early part of the race, and that's exactly what he's doing. He could have got the overtake done, but instead he's very close. But he needs Jin to not be going wide into turn one if they're going to stick to the back of G-Dan and get a move done later on. They do have a bit of a gap. Pasty's in P9 and Zimmer's in P10, so he's on course before reverse grid pole at the moment. A little bit wide there for Deco. He's going to lose some ground to Jin. Let's see what's happening further up. Everyone's kind of gapped each other at the moment as we head around this pretty difficult right-hander. Yuri, then we got Senior Fak down in 12th, so he's had a bad start, and then we got Cameron and Otto, who've had an absolute nightmare starts. Didn't see what happened there, but yeah, everyone going onto the oval section is a little bit spaced away. Deco's probably still the closest to Jin out of anyone in the top 8, so let's see if he can start to close the gap in this Lexus. Half a second up on his previous best time, which was in the 47s. These guys should really be in the 46s at the front of Tier 3. If not, the odd 45 as well. See, a 45.9 is the quickest lap for a botter. Now, Deco on the last lap decided to push Jin closer to G-Dan, and they were pretty close, but G-Dan's got quite a big gap. So is Deco going to continue trying to bump draft? Because I have a feeling Jin is holding him up a little bit, and this might not be the best tactic at this stage of the race. Yeah, 46.5 there for Deco, not the best time. When Claus did a 45.4, which is crazy. This is a great camera angle, by the way. Seeing all the drivers come through the sweeping right-hander here. Looks like Zimmerman is being overtaken around the outside by Yuri, and Yuri's going to get that position. Oh, Zimmerman's got the better exit, but they're still side by side. This is the battle for P10, so it's an important one, because it's the difference of starting first in the feature race or 11th in the feature race, whoever wins out this battle. And Yuri's still trying to hang it around the outside. Zimmerman gives him enough room, and maybe he didn't give him enough room, actually. And Zimmerman wins out that position. Yuri's flashing his lights, though. I don't think he's happy. Now he's under pressure from Senior Fak, and he's got the inside line. He's going to get a good exit onto the oval section, but Fak right behind him now. He's got definitely slipstream speed. He's pulled out of the slipstream before going on the straight, which is why he's lost the momentum there, because he was taking the outside line, which is a lot slower, and he's decided to lift off. He's not going to challenge Yuri at the moment going into this corner. He doesn't want to risk any contact. And Zimmerman getting that corner all wrong. I think he'll just about avoid a penalty there. But Yuri should be able to... Oh no, he does get a penalty. So is Yuri going to stay behind him, or is he just going to get the move done? Oh, Zimmer's going to serve it this lap. I did forget that you do serve the penalties on the same lap here, unlike a lot of tracks. And he pushes him a little bit as well. And yeah, Zimmer's dropping out of this battle for P10. But Senor Fak now has a good chance of closing the gap in on Yuri, or they can work together to try and make their way a little bit further up the field. But P9 is quite a distance away at the moment. Let's go back on board with Deco, who is once again trying to get past Jin, but he can't do anything about it. Monty has dropped to P6 behind Jidan now as well, by the way, so we missed that one, unfortunately. Jidan lapping in the 45s as well, just like Claus, so unfortunately, because of his poor qualifying, he's not been able to compete at the front, but he definitely has the race pace for it. And at the front, Peachy's actually closed the gap a little bit now to Botta from Aero. Peachy did a 45.4 in the last lap as well, and Botta only did a 45.7, so a 3/10 gap closed there. So I fully expect Peachy to use this first section of the oval before the pit stop to close the gap. Try and get a good exit from the pit stop and get the overtake done on the on the main straight. Sorry. Well, they both got pretty even exits there. Peachy on course to set the fastest lap of the race by a 10th, and he's got slipstream assist as well there. Botta just kind of lets him through. Did he lift? What was going on there? I think he was taking the racing line, which isn't what you're meant to do when you're battling with somebody. Just opens the door here. No, he's lifted. What's going on? If anyone knows, let me know in the chat why he just decided to give Peachy that position for absolutely no reason. And he gives him a little flash. I don't know what's going on there. So Peachy up into P2 now, and he can focus on trying to catch Claus if he can. He did set the fastest lap at 44.9, a lot quicker than the previous fastest lap. Then we've got a little bit of a gap to Higgsy, who's kind of all on his own in P4. So he's racing a solid race, and then his teammate is in P5. So the Porsche's doing pretty well in terms of collecting points for their team, moving up the rankings a little bit. Monty's still a solid P6. Ahead of Deco, who's finally got past Pasti, as has Jin, so I'm assuming Jin's had a penalty somewhere. That's why he's lost those two positions. Pasti all over the back of Deco now. Let's just ride on board with Pasti, see if he can get a good slick shot onto the oval and get an overtake done on Deco before the pit stop, the bus stop even. No, Deco got a really good exit there, and Pasti might be able to get close on the home straight, but not before that. He needs a really good exit from the bus stop now. And his turn-in's all out of shape. I don't know what he just can't have been concentrating, surely. That was, yeah, that was horrendous. Is he going to come under a little bit of pressure from Jin? No, Jin's a little bit too far back, but he is closing the gap now. Let's see what's going on a little bit further back. The battle for P10. Senor Fak actually got past Yuri, and now Yuri's going to try and do the same back to him. Now, Senor Fak, unlike what we saw with Botta, he is defending the inside and he's not lifting. He is actually getting a little bit of a bump from Yuri, so neither of them really happy to be fighting over P10. They want a little bit better than this. Senor Fak going really defensive into turn 1. Yuri's going to try and move around the outside, which is never going to work, but he's going to cut back and try and get a better exit than Fak. But, yeah, he just slots in right behind him, unless he decides to go for a dive bomb, which he absolutely doesn't. Fak goes defensive into the corner, but actually gets a fairly decent exit compared to Yuri. So Yuri's still... Oh, what's happened here? We've had a change for P3. Oh, Botta had a penalty. Okay. And Higgsy is up into P3 after being, like I said, he was just on his own for a little while. But let's stick with this battle for P10, Yuri versus Fak. I don't know, is that appropriate to call someone on YouTube? Am I going to get, like, the video taken down? Down to first gear for the turn. I don't know, I don't think first gear in any car is advisable for like pretty much any corner either. But maybe I'm wrong, what do I know? I chose to drive a Beetle this season, so... So Fak got a much better exit, and I do think it's because Yuri was in first gear going onto the straight, and he just really pulled away despite Yuri having a little bit of slipstream there. The entry into the bus stop was the complete opposite though. Yuri really closed the gap, and he should be able to get a fairly easy overtake done here, depending on what he does with the bump drafting. And if Fak gives him the room... Yeah, he's just going for the bump draft. Is he going to do the ultimate betrayal into turn 1 after helping him out through the straight? No, he doesn't. Down into first again. So Fak doing a pretty good defensive job at the moment. Let's see what's going on elsewhere. Botafumairo's back up to the back of Higgsy. He has had a little bit better pace in the sprint race. He's just been had his race a little bit ruined by that penalty, and now he's going to try and get past Higgsy on the back straight. I think his car should have the straight line speed. We'll find out very soon. And G-Dan, actually let's ride on board with G-Dan because we've got a 3-car battle here. G-Dan losing a bit of ground to the top 2, so Botta is really in the slipstream of Higgsy, and he's managed to get alongside on the inside. This should be fairly straightforward for Higgsy, for Botta, sorry, to get that P3 back. And he's proving the Z4 is not actually the worst car, as we all thought it was going to be. He's up on the podium position once again this season. And now we've got the 2 Porsches battling, so are they going to be bump drafting each other to try and get back up to speed with Botta? Looks like it. And they need to with the speed of this car. Higgsy trying to move around the outside potentially, and he's gone for it, Botta just misses that tyre wall and keeps the position. Some good defensive driving there from Botta to keep P3. Now he has to try and gap these cars in the infield section so that he stops being under so much pressure. Oh, really wide on the exit there from Monty, and now Deco's all over the back of him. And he's a little bit off track as well, so Deco just swoops past and Monty down to 7th. This is the final lap, by the way. We haven't watched Claus at all in this race because he's just ran away with it. But to be honest, Peachy's not actually that far behind. He's really been lapping a lot quicker, a couple of tenths quicker every single lap than Claus. Bottas managed to gap the Porsches a little bit, so it looks like a 4-5 for the Porsche team. Let's just see if Claus can consolidate this win ahead of Peachy to get another win in the season, extend his championship lead by even more. Yeah, it's looking fairly good. I think Peachy's going to be pretty close behind though. Maybe 1 or 2 seconds. So if Peachy hadn't got such a bad start and got stuck behind Botafumairo, he might have been able to challenge for this win on his Tier 3 debut. There we go, a win for Claus, P2 for Peachy. Botfimiro is going to come home in third after running second and fourth at various points. Higgsy gets fourth at the end, G-Dan is in fifth, so he dropped down a little bit at the end. Deco just about P7, ahead of Monty. Pasty P8 his best result of the season, followed by Jin, his worst sprint performance of the season. Yuri gets reverse grid pole in the end. Zimmer is 11th, and something must have happened to Fact, he's all the way down at 12th. Championship contender Cameron having an absolute nightmare here. He's going to be finishing in 13th. And Otto is our last finishing guy in the Mazda. No idea what happened to him, but a pretty disappointing one for him. So yeah, that was the sprint. Let's load up the feature. So let's see, how many wins is that for Claus now this season? Let's have a quick look. That is Jin's third win, so he's won the one feature and 2 sprints now. He's never been able to do 2 wins. He got a double. Well, that's actually his 4th podium in a row. So he won the feature race in Nürburgring, won the sprint in Lago Maggiore, finished second in the feature, and now has won the sprint in Daytona. So 4 podiums in a row, 3 of which have been wins, and that is why he has such a big lead in the championship at the moment. So let's have a look at tyre strategies for this feature race. Mediums for everyone? Is anyone going to be on the softs? Not a single person is starting on the softs. I would have thought that maybe Yuri, Jin might have wanted to start on the softs because they are close to the front, could potentially gap the field, but they haven't. So let's see what we're going to do with this 40-minute, 23-lap feature race. And Cameron doesn't do the feature. Yeah, he backed out after the sprint. So really solid start for Jin, already putting pressure on Yuri. Pasty's coming under a bit of pressure from behind as well. Yuri keeps the position into turn 1. Looks like Pasty just heads off Monty. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Peachy and Claus. Claus is in P10 and he's about to get overtaken by Zimmerman actually. And another driver is off the field there. I think that's Fak is completely off the road. Same as, oh, someone's gone off. Maybe they corrected themselves. It was one of the blue cars. Was it G-Dan? Yeah, he's on the grass. He's losing positions. He's outside the top 10. So I don't know what happened there. A bit of an unforced error for G-Dan, and he's going to have to start this race and do a huge recovery job if he wants to get a good result. Yuri's still under pressure from Jin, and it looks like Monty's losing it. Nearly collects his teammate. Manages to correct himself just in the nick of time. And that forces Higgsy a little bit wide, and he's battling Botfimiro. Let's ride on board with Peachy and see if he can pick off any of these drivers in his car. Bottas got a great run on Higgsy, but he's gone for the bump draft, and now they're really closing in on Monty ahead, so we're going to be potentially 4 wide for the bus stop. Peachy's... he's backed out of it. Yeah, he knew that wasn't a good idea, but Bottas going for it, and now Peachy's going for it on Higgsy, and he's going to get the double overtake done. Both of them do. Great little bit of overtaking there, and a fantastic start from Peachy from 9 to 6 already. And up front, Jin has got past Yuri. We missed that, so let's have... Oh... Hold on. Jin just gets a better exit onto the back straight there, and he's going to win the drag race down to the next turn. Yeah, he's already ahead. Yuri has to slot in behind him. So back to where we were. Peachy does have a run on Botta, as Yuri is fairly close behind Jin, but it looks like they're playing the slipstream game from up, what I can see up above. Peachy, on the other hand, is not playing the slipstream game. He's going around the outside of Botta, and he's got P5 fairly easily there. Botta's not going to come under any pressure from Monty. He's too far behind, but at the front, Yuri putting Jin under all sorts of pressure. Jin goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1, but gets a good run out of turn 1 to keep P1 for now. Pasti still in a solid P3, so the Toyota boys are P2 and 3 at the moment, which would be a great result for them if they could stay there. Deco a little bit wide on the exit on the grass. Might start to get caught by Peachy if he's not careful. This top 5 separated by probably 3 or 4 seconds at the moment. Who's going to get the best exit? Yuri goes really wide on the exit and Pasti loses a bit of traction, so that's good news for Jin. Deco well, it looks like he's going to get a slight run, but he did a little bit better than Peachy there. Peachy under a bit of pressure from bottom from Aero, so he might actually get re-overtaken here. I falsely assumed that Peachy would just be able to drive away from Botta after what we saw in the sprint, but that's not happened. Yeah, Botta's joining the fight for P1 as well now. It's basically a train of cars. Oh, a really, really good exit there from Botta. He's going to sweep around the outside as long as his car's got the speed in it. Let's see what's going to start happening now with the inside line and just... Oh, Andy gets a bump draft there. Yeah, so... Is that the car? Was it the inside line or was it a bit of both? Probably a little bit of both, but Peachy keeps that position. Meanwhile, Deco is trying to get a move done on Pasti and Yuri's still putting a lot of pressure on Jin. Quite a lot going on in this feature race so far, but Jin putting in a good defensive display at the moment. They'll all be doing a fairly similar pit strategy as well. Pasti still... Oh, look at this queue of cars. Let's ride on board with Botta because there's going to be some changes here, surely. 4th position. Botta putting on a bit of pressure on Peachy still, so I guess the Honda's not so hot in the infield. And then it comes alive on the outfield. Botta going purple. Although the fastest lap's only a 46.9. Everyone's on mediums though. They should still be able to get the low 46s on a good lap. Deco putting a lot of pressure on Pasti. He's thinking about having a go, he decides not to. Pasti wide into the entry of the bus stop again, and wide on the exit. Deco also wide on the exit. This is going to create an opportunity for Peachy now. Oh, Pasti gets a half-second penalty. He's going to drop right back. Botta has dropped back as well, so he's made a mistake somewhere. Peachy's going to fancy 2 positions here, so he's going to get Pasti. Deco going defensive, but I don't think there's anything he can do about it. Peachy's going to get past. This car is ridiculous. Meanwhile, Jin is still in P1, still going wide in turn 1, but still keeping the position ahead of Yuri. But he's going to have a bit of company fairly soon because I have a feeling Peachy's going to be challenging for the lead of the race fairly shortly. I've got to say, how did Peachy not get pole position when his car's got this much speed in it? Fortunately for these guys, this track is a complete anomaly on a GT7 calendar. There's no track that has high speeds that are sustained for this period of time. Not even other high-speed tracks. Monza's actually straights are surprisingly small. Bathurst has quite a long straight, but you have to turn in the middle of it. Here we go. This is going to be it now for Peachy, I reckon. Unless Yuri can do something before. Yuri's going to look at Jin and think, Christ, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to overtake you now. Well, he's thought about it. Oh, there is a little bit of contact. Jin goes wide as a result, and Peachy slides through, and he's going to get Jin for breakfast here. Absolutely easy as anything. And there are 5 cars behind Peachy who've all been queuing up to have a go at Jin, and now Deco's up into P3. He's going to try and think about a move for Jin. He goes to the bump draft instead. They're trying to stay with Peachy as much as they can because they can't afford Peachy to go away. But actually Deco's going to try and move around the outside into turn 1. Really difficult to get this done. Jin goes wide at turn 1 quite a lot as well. He actually doesn't this time, and that's put Deco out of position on the exit, and something's happened to Botta. Alright, let's see what happened to Botta here. He was really close behind in this battle for P2, trying to see if any of them made a mistake, but he ends up clattering the wall on the inside. It's all pretty normal here. Now Pasty gives him a little nudge, and yeah, oh well. So he's lost a couple of positions to the Toyotas as a result of that. And then there's a gap all the way down to Zimmerman in 7th. Claus is in 8th, by the way. Battling with Monty, battling with Higgsy, battling with G-Dan, but yeah, not actually managing to get into the lead group of cars yet. So I don't think it's going to be as easy in this feature race as it was last week for Claus. He does manage to get a good overtake there on Higgsy though. Oh, and then he goes instantly into the grass, never mind. Monty on the inside is fancying another position on Claus as well. They're going to go side by side. So he may not have had any action in the sprint race, but Claus is stuck in the thick of it here in the feature. Now what's G-Dan going to do? He's got 2 slipstreams to pick from, and he looks like he's not choosing either of them. Quite a decent recovery from G-Dan all the way up into 11th, and he can see the leader of the race further up. Claus off track! Nearly collects these guys, but they manage to see it and get out of the way just in time, and Claus outside of the top 10 now. It's 5 laps in and not even in the top 10. But further up, let's see what's going on. Yuri and Jin are playing the bump draft game. Despite that, Peachy's still getting away from them. Jin is not probably on the pace of Peachy. He's in the 48s and Peachy's in the 46s. Botta's actually got the quickest lap of the race down in P4, but he's stuck behind Jin and Yuri. So it might end up being a fairly straightforward race for Peachy from here on in. I wonder if they picked this car because they knew Daytona was on the track. Being the reserve team, just join for Daytona, get you win and leave, no questions asked. Yuri actually fallen behind a little bit of Jin in this infield section. Now, will it be slipstream or challenge for Botta? A double podium would be a great result for Botta from Aero, actually. Didn't have as good of a week last week in Largo compared to Nürburgring. Oh, they're so close together. There's a little bit of bumping, but they actually all managed to make the apex. Yuri really wide on exit there though. That's going to open the door for Botta, but Botta looks like he's going for the bump draft instead, and Yuri gets a half-second penalty anyway, so that's a free position for Botta. And I was going to say for Deco as well, but Deco gets the 1 second. So Yuri's going to get away with it, and Pasty might actually move up into the top 5. Jin wonders if we got the Z4 performance all wrong. Jury's out. So Pasty up into P5, Deco down into 6 now after he was in the top 3 at one point. So he's getting jostled down the order. Oh, and he's lost a bit of traction on the exit there. Zimmerman doing fairly well, still in 7th, still holding off this huge group of cars. Claus managing to get past G-Dan into the top 10 now at least. Zimmerman wide, and Higgsy's going to nick that position. Claus, I don't know what's going on with his racecraft here, but he's not doing so well when he's having to go wheel to wheel, and he's down to 11th again. Is this the racecraft of the future tier 3? Oh, what's happening here? Well, actually, he gets 2 positions for free there. Let's go back and see what happens here with Zimmer and Monty. Yeah, Monty just punts Zimmer off, and then he decides to slow down for him, but on kind of the racing line a little bit. But Claus and G-Dan managed to get through anyway, so Claus up to P9 now. That's a few extra points for him on the board. And he's actually got a little bit of breathing space now that he's cleared Zimmer to potentially try and hunt down these Porsches. He's flashing G-Dan. I don't know what he's trying to tell him by doing that. Maybe he's just trying to put him off. Wrecks very early for the corner and gets a great exit, but I have a feeling that was cutting the line, and he's going to get a penalty. Yeah, he gets a 1 second. So I said he might have cleared Zimmer, but he's going to fall back down again. Oh, this is the feature race from hell so far for Claus. We're basically a third of the way in, and yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Yeah, he gets overtaken from both angles, and yeah, that was so easy. Fac's actually going to start closing the gap on him. Look at the rear tyre on Fac. It's like got maybe 40% left, and these are medium tyres as well. What's happening at the front? We've got Peachy. He's not that far ahead of Botta. Botta's in second ahead of Yuri, so what's happened to Jin to fall those positions? So he's gone side by side. Well, let's get a good angle. Botta's got a good run on him. They're going to go side by side into the bus stop. Jin does brake later. He wants to go for it, but he's not got any space to turn, and he loses out there, and that compromises his exit, and it's going to allow Yuri to get into his slipstream. But we've seen what Yuri's been doing lately. He's been bumping Jin along. I wonder if he's going to be thinking right now, right, I need to get past Jin, or else Botta's going to start driving away. Yeah, he's gone for the inside. The door was left open for him. I don't know why Jin didn't stay low. Now Yuri's got a chance with the overspeed to challenge Botta. He's going on the outside into turn 1. Maybe he's going to try a little cutback, but Botta's car's there, so he can't get a good exit from turn 1. And he has to slot in just behind. But yeah, P3 Fury, so some good progress from the Toyota. And then Pasty's not too far behind either. A little bit wide there, Fury. See what's going on a little bit further back. Pasty and Deco having a little bit of a battle now. Pasty's having to go defensive. Deco's going purple at this point. He's backed out really early for the corner. So Pasty holding up Deco a little bit at the moment, it looks like. Ooh, that'll have lost Pasty a bit of time going all the way on the road, the flat road on the surface, as opposed to the oval. He's trying to defend the inside, that's why he does not want to. Oh, well, he's just decided that he doesn't care about the inside anymore. And yeah, oh, Deco really had to slam on the brakes to back out of it and avoid contact there. Pasty goes really wide on the exit, and that's just the easiest position ever for Deco. Pasty basically got scared out of that position, and now he's got a half-second penalty on top of that. So he's going to lose a position to Higgsy as well coming up. These penalties at Daytona really disrupt your flow and can make you lose ground with the leading pack. Fastest lap there for Higgsy at 46.6. So the fuel's coming down, but the tyre wear isn't. Oh, really wide from Deco. Yeah, the fuel's coming down, and the tyres are still holding strong. So the lap times are starting to get faster and faster. Really wide for Higgsy. Is that going to open the door for Pasty? It should do if Pasty's good on the exit. And Higgsy just keeps that spot for now. what's happened a bit further up. Jin's still really going strong with the P2 and P3 drivers. So he's the one who's best placed to get a good result for AMG this race, because we've seen claws in the wars. Let's have a little check on claws. He's up to 10th now. So Zimmer's had a problem somewhere, he's fallen down to 12th. Otto still with the pack, but a tiny bit cut off. Claws not troubling Monty and G-Dan at the moment. Jin very close to Yuri now. Is he going to have a look? He could easily stick a nose in at this corner, but he decides not to, which is a smart move. Yuri goes wide and over the grass. Jin's going to just go around the outside and Yuri has to cut the corner. I don't know if that's going to give him a penalty, but that was pretty horrendous as far as taking the corners. I think he might have got scared off the track because he was looking at where Jin's car was and not at where his car was meant to be going. So yeah, Jin back up into P3 now, and he's got a little bit of breathing space as well for a lap or two at least. Penalty for Monty, so this is good news for Claws. That's a huge penalty. Wow. Down to P10. Maybe P11 by the time turn 1 comes. Especially if you're going to go wide like that. But Zimmerman was just a little bit too far back. So a free position there for Claws. Up to P9, which is 1 position better than where he started the race. G-Dan we saw had a big incident at the opening of the race, but he's still in the top 8 and he's not that far away from the win. Anyone could still win this race because we know that the Lexuses will probably jump a lot of these guys in the pits with the fuel tank. But the top 2 seem to be driving away. Let's have a little fuel check. So pretty decent fuel, I'd say maybe 35% left for Peachy, only 25% left for Bottas, so that is not a good car on fuel economy. Pretty much the exact same as the AMG actually, and the Toyota. Bit better for the Lexus, but Peachy's actually got better fuel than Deco there. Higgsy's doing pretty well on fuel. Pasty is the same as the guys who are struggling, 25%. Pretty decent for G-Dan, pretty decent for Claws, so he's been fuel saving at least. So potential for Claws to close the gap on the leaders in the pits. Very, very good fuel for Monty. Oh dear, not a very good corner though. Zimmerman pretty much on 25%, so the Mitsubishi is not a good car for fuel. Otto bang on 25 as well, and Senor Fak on 25 as well, so that seems to be the standard. What's happened to Jin? Just got what did happen? Did he have a penalty that we didn't see? Or is it just an easy overtake with the slipstream? He leaves the door open again for Yuri. So this is kind of identical to what we saw previously, and Yuri just gets past again. And Jin goes very wide into the corner. Yuri is getting the exit all wrong. Actually, they both just took that corner very badly. Half-second penalty because Jin just went too wide. So that's going to punish Jin as Deco decides to go for a move as well. Half-second penalty around here can really derail your whole race, because all of a sudden you're going to be behind multiple cars that you were comfortably fending off. This will be top 5 for Higgsy potentially, which is good for him. We've seen he missed, I think, the first race and did pretty well at Largo. Senor Fak in the pits already. He is going to be putting on, I guess it's mediums, or is he going to change it at the last second? Yep, another set of mediums for the rest of the race, and he's fueled to the brim. So that Audi not able to do a medium soft stint that we're expecting everyone else to do. He's going to be doing mediums and trying to still get a solid result out of it. Not expecting many others to pit this lap though, to be honest. Let's see if what Peachy decides to do. He's still going, as is Botta and Yuri. Every single person is still going. Higgsy gets past Jin. If I was Jin, I might have come in there to minimize that time loss. Claw's in the pits though early, so he's going to try the mother of all undercuts here. He's going to be doing 12 laps on the softs. The AMG's not that good on its tyres. It's average, I would say. It's not like a real good car for nursing its tyres, and those mediums after just 11 laps nearly gone, so I don't know how he's going to do 12 on softs. Unless he's going to put on another set of mediums, just like what we saw Senor Fak do. God, it takes a long time to free fuel this car. And he's gonna go softs for 12 laps. No, I don't think it's gonna work. I'm gonna say right now, I think that's a poor strategy choice. Meanwhile, Peachy has, I would say, maybe a 3-second lead over Botta at the moment, so he's managed to build a solid lead. Deco pretty close to Yuri as we go into the bus stop. So let's see, is Peachy going to come in this lap? I think he could do another one. I did a 13 and 10, which worked out perfectly for me and my tyres. But you've got to do what's optimal for yours. If you can make 11 laps on the softs last, you should do it. Peachy's decided he's not, Botta's decided he's not, Yuri's not going to come in, Deco isn't either. Oh no, Yuri has come in actually. Monty in the Otto in the top 10. Monty's dropped out of the top 10 despite not making a stop, so he's had a nightmare somewhere. So we got Yuri, Jin and Pasty in the pits. All of these were ahead of Claus. So let's ride on board with Claus and see if any of them come out behind him, and he's managed to get a really good outlap here. Our championship leader been struggling to overtake in this feature race and stay ahead of these cars, making some mistakes as well. Jin already having fuel put in his car. Don't forget that the pit stop drivers will be skipping turn 1 altogether as well. So as soon as the fuel stops, they're basically going to be exiting the pits. So it's like Jin is ahead. I don't think Pasty's going to be ahead. Pasty is going to be behind, and Monty is going to be behind as well. But Yuri is crucially ahead of them all. So Yuri is the first driver of the guys that have pit. So he's got the opportunity to try and overtake, well, stay ahead of Deco, overtake Botta and Peachy if he really nails this out lap. Let's see what Peachy is thinking of doing. I expect everyone to come in on this lap, unless they're really unconfident on their softs. No, he's going on again. Okay. Botta's coming in. Botta wasn't that far ahead of Yuri, so I think with a great outlap, Yuri could get Botta. Higgsy does carry on again. Then there's a big gap to G-Dan. G-Dan is carrying on. Zimmerman and Otto having a nice little battle here, but they're both going in the pits anyway. And then we've got our potential net race leader, because he's going to have multiple laps on these softs compared to what Peachy's doing. Obviously he's got a bit more fuel that's weighing him down on the straights, but I think the benefit of the fresh tyres and the softer compound is going to help him a bit more there. Comfortably ahead of Jin. Jin's maybe 1.5 seconds, maybe 2 seconds ahead of Claus at the moment, so they might do a little bit of team orders and switch positions at some point. So here we go, this is the pit exit now. Deco looks like he is out ahead of Claus, and Botta is also out ahead of Claus. So Botta And Deco have stayed ahead of Yuri. Yuri is, actually, I think Deco might have actually overtaken Yuri in the pits with that Lexus fuel. G-Dan, his tyres and his fuel is pretty much completely gone here in the Porsche. But he only wants to do 9 laps on the softs. And then Higgsy and Peachy surely is coming in the pits. He could potentially do one more lap looking at that, but I don't know why you would want to. Yeah, in the pits he goes. Surely the same is going to happen for Higgsy, and then we're going to properly see what the order is. Higgsy's risking it by staying out this late, I've got to say. He did a 48.5 in that previous lap, which is not very quick. Same for G-Dan, a 48.6 in that previous lap. Not quick times at all, compared to what these guys below will be about to set. Vodda's got a... well, he should keep P2 at least. Not so sure about P1, because he's only had 1 lap on these softs, as opposed to some of these other drivers. Maybe if he pit a lap or 2 earlier, he could have P1 at least temporarily, make a fight of it. Oh, hits the wall a little bit on the entry into turn 1. It looks like Peachy's already out the pits though. And then it's going to be Deco and Yuri, and Jin is probably going to stay ahead of Higgsy and G-Dan. It looks like Claus as well. No, there's Higgsy. Higgsy's in P5 actually, ahead of Jin. So he's made it work really well. He stayed ahead of both the AMGs. But he has fallen behind Yuri, and then G-Dan is in 8th, which is where he was previously, so he's not really gained or lost anything. He was ahead of Claus though, but he does himself get ahead of Pasty. So, and he's got fresher tyres for the rest of the race, which is really crucial. Let's ride on board with Claus, because I have a feeling he's going to catch up to Jin fairly shortly. Got 8 laps left, 7 laps left. Actually, Jin's had a much better exit there. He could have a run on Higgsy if he gets the bus stop right. A bit more cautious on the entry, Jin, compared to Higgsy. That's why we see Higgsy gapping him already mid-corner. And Higgsy really slingshots himself well out of harm's way there. And Claus might actually decide, right now is the time. Team orders, I'm in a championship fight with myself, but I still need the Michael Schumacher treatments. Oh no, they've gone for the bump drafting anyway. Okay. They think about the constructors as well, potentially. Claus might get a little bit held up by Jin now, potentially, though. We know Claus has had the pace this week, apart from the start of the feature race, where he was a little bit sloppy. But he's still in contention despite that sloppiness, it's got to be said. At the front, Peachy's got a massive lead, by the way. We didn't even see where he came out of the pits, but look at the mini-map, and that'll tell you all you need to know. Everyone is from P2 down to maybe P10, very close together, and then Peachy's just miles ahead of all of them. At least there's someone who isn't Claus in contention. It's nice to see. Even if it might just be temporary for this one race. That's the beauty of GT, to be honest. You've got to choose a car that's like a good all-rounder, but it's going to perform well at every single race that you show up to. So that means you've got to take into account tyre wear, top speed. Here we go for Claus. He's going to maybe get a run on Jin. No, he's backed out of it anyway. He just lifted slightly there. So you need a good all-rounder car, really, if you think about car selection. Because if you just got a car like, for example, the Peugeot VGT, as we see, yeah, another bump draft, that's going to be one of the slowest cars in 9 out of 10 tracks. But then put it on Daytona, it's gonna be all these cars. It's gonna blow them all out of the water because it's got great top speed. So if you want to go for one win in a season and try to have an easy go of it, that's the kind of car you want to pick. But if you want to be competing all season and not be super depressed, oh, he's really wide. Jin's always wide in turn 1. It's potentially intentional at this point, but it's not the optimal line. That's why Claus got past so quickly. And now Claus can try and hunt down Higgsy. What's going on a little bit further back? Doesn't look like anyone else is challenging at the moment, so let's join Higgsy as he's got pressure cars and he tries to chase down Yuri. So we've got the Porsche, for example. It's a great all-round car. It's got decent fuel if you don't rev it out. It's got okay tyres, although it's an MR car, so its rears can struggle sometimes. It's got bad top speed though. But that has been remedied somewhat in the high-speed BOP updates that we've seen. But as you can see, it's still not going to be contending for race wins at a track like Daytona. You're playing catch-up all race and you're not really able to challenge for the overtakes, even if you feel like you've got better pace than the car in front. So it's about that trade-off really between what am I going to excel at and what plays to my strengths and what cars complement that. But you have to choose the car that's not going to really penalise you at races where maybe you're not so good or the car's not so good. And a good example of that is the Audi R8, which we're riding on board with now. So it's one of the better cars in terms of one lap pace, that's for sure, at 99% of tracks. It's got horrendous tyre wear on the rear because it's an MR, but like one of the worst MRs for tyre wear. So even though it might look, oh, that's a really slow entry into the bus stop. Even though it might look attractive if you're doing practice with tyre wear off just to see what's fast, it's not gonna really stack up when you've got 6 times tyre wear punishing you and putting you out of contention for certain strategies. And that is why we've got back at the back. So at the front, let's give Peachy a little bit of screen time. Peachy is one of the RX drivers who races in our new esports series that we have on Sundays. So if you haven't seen that race yet, I'd recommend go and check them out because they're actually quite entertaining races. Me and Pyro commentate them, so we have a good laugh while we do it as well. RX are currently P2 in the standings there. Peachy raced in both of them, I think, or just one. I can't remember. No, he just raced in the first one at Suzuka. Got a fairly decent result out of it as well. Against some pretty quick people. That was actually his best result in ALR, apart from, well, until the sprint race where he got P2 and potentially this where he got P1, where he's going to get P1. Because he struggled a lot in Tier 2 last season. People talk about there being quite a big gap between Tier 2 and Tier 3. A good example of that is Claus, who really struggled in Tier 2, but he's leading the championship here. Pagel won the championship last season in Tier 3 and has struggled to even finish in the top 10 so far this season in Tier 2 as well. Got Botta, who moved up from Tier 4, is the closest challenger from a guy who was in Tier 2 last season, so they were 2 tiers apart, and now they're only a couple of seconds, well, maybe 4 or 5 seconds apart, as Botta's actually got the fastest lap and he's going faster again. Deco kind of on his own now in P3. Another one up from Tier 4 last season, Yuri, and Higgsy was in Tier 3 last season and is kept one of the only drivers to actually stay in Tier 3 who was in Tier 3 last season. Half of them moved up, a few of them moved down, and then we've got Higgsy. Claus not really closing the gap on the cars in front, but he is maybe 2 seconds ahead of Jin now. Jin is going to have G-Dan for company fairly soon. We did see G-Dan's pit quite late, so he's going to have some fresher tyres as well. And the tyres won't be taking such a battering because he started this stint on lower fuel than everyone else too. Pasty was in the top 5 earlier, dropped down to P9 kind of on his own. Monty's chasing him down a little bit. then Otto, Zimmer, and Fak quite a long way back. So where is the battle? Let's join with Higgsy. Let's see if this Porsche can actually get an overtake done. He is closing the door, closing the gap a little bit. You can see the car getting a little bit bigger on the screen. Just can't get close enough. Maybe he's going to have to try and overtake on the infield section, you know, if he's going to get a move done. Took turn 1 much better than Yuri managed. And got another better exit here. Excuse me. But he backs out of it. See, he should have stayed glued to Yuri's rear there instead of lifting and gone for a move at this corner, but the door could have easily opened there for him. And now, because of that, he's not been able to close the gap in that last corner before the oval, and he's quite far away from Yuri. So I don't think he's going to be able to do it on this straight or the next one unless he really, really nails the bus stop. Yuri in the Toyota though, Toyota does have better top speed. Oh, he brakes so much earlier, actually makes contact! Oh dear, not like that. Maybe that's why he was lifting earlier in the lap, because he knew that was going to happen. So yeah, that's not going to be a battle anytime soon. Meanwhile, Jin all over the back of Jidan, so he's actually lost that position. Let's see what happened. Let's join with Jidan. Jin going defensive into this hairpin. Is it a hairpin? I'm going to call it a hairpin. And Jidan getting the tighter angle on exit. I've always wondered which is the faster line, because they're both fairly valid lines to take. Jidan got the better of the exit on that occasion, but Jin is not, well actually he's not in the slipstream. He should have got in the slipstream there a little bit. He's decided not to, and now he's thinking about a move. Is he going to go on the inside into the next corner, or is he just going to tuck up behind? He's going for it. Trying to get him on the braking. Oh. And Jidan, well, they actually both took that corner fairly well. It could have gone easily very wrong. Now Jin's going to do what always fails. Tries to go high when the driver goes low, and the driver who goes low is always going to win out. You need to stay in the slipstream, get a great slingshot here. He's trying to go around the outside again. And he just can't do anything into the turn, but he's going to brake really late, and Jidan gives him the space, to be fair to him. But he's going to have a little bit more traction on the exit and keep that position. They're still trying to go side by side, but Jin loses a bit of traction, goes on the grass as well, and loses out that time. Anything happening? Come on guys, give me something. Monty and Pasty having a little bit of a ding-dong. Pasty's got a second penalty. These two are in a battle for P9, but behind them there's a big gap down to Otto and Zimmer behind them. And yeah, I don't know what line that was, Monty, but you actually didn't lose too much time to Pasty, which is crazy to think. Good graphics there by GT. A little bit further up, everyone's kind of line astern here, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars fairly close together, but not close enough to be troubling each other. Really hairy corner there for Jin. Pasty's under a bit of pressure as well. Oof, Monty pretty much cuts that corner. I wonder if his penalty, yeah, it goes up to 3 seconds. Not too good there. Monty has really good pace, but he's just been getting a lot of penalties in this race. Well, I say really good pace. He's only been in the 46s once on these soft tyres, so. Looks like G-Dan's actually catching Claws now. So this might be a little move that we got. And then we can see Higgsy a little bit further up catching Yuri as well. But we've seen that all night and he's not been able to get past. So let's stick with this one because the Porsche and the AMG might have similar top speed. Neither of them are anything to write home about anyway. Maybe the AMG has an extra 1 or 2 kilometers an hour at the top end. Not enough to counteract slipstream, that's for sure. Yeah, he's got such a good exit there compared to Claws. Now, G-Dan's a guy I thought could have potentially challenged for the championship. He did miss a round already, but he's definitely shown that he's got the pace with the top boys. With the start in the sprint race, and now what? Putting a lot of pressure on Claws in this feature. Claws having to go defensive, and G-Dan just backs out of it. He's going to try and get a better exit. Claws really wide on the exit. Both of them really wide on the exit, really. And again, G-Dan choosing not to get in the slipstream. And now he's gone for the bump draft. I'm not sure what his tactic is here. Trying to think about a move around the outside, and he needs to be careful not to get a penalty. He just keeps his tyres within the line. Claws goes really wide on the exit anyway. Absolutely unforced error there from Claws, and G-Dan just swoops past after nearly getting it so wrong on the entry into turn 1, and Claws goes wide again. I don't know what's happened there. Oh, his rear tyre is completely gone. Like what we were saying when he pit, that was far too ambitious of a strategy, and he might struggle all the way to the line now with those completely red soft tyres. Let's join the front because it looks like we are nearing the end of the race. Everyone's fairly far apart. We got Peachy get a P2 in the sprint race. He's going to get a P1 in the feature as long as he can take the bus stop competently, which he does. And it's going to be a great win for Peachy, his first ever win in ALR. Is it the first time a Finn's actually won a race in ALR? In GT7? No, Juho Finn's also won. The highest level, potentially. I don't think anyone's won at tier 3 or higher who is Finnish. So, well done there for Peachy. Race win. Bottifamaro is going to come home with another podium in that Z4. Absolutely fantastic result for him. Deco is going to get another podium as well, so solid result for him, who just quietly recovered from P6 to P3 during the pit phase and didn't look back. Yuri P4, Higgsy just behind him in P5, couldn't get a move done. G-Dan a comfortable P6 ahead of Claws in the end, and Jin in P7 there. Then there's going to be a big gap all the way back to Pasty, who is disappointed again. My pick to win tier 3, I'm looking like a bit of a fool now as he crossed the line at P9. Monty's going to get P10 after he got that 3-second penalty. Otto Ration, another trip outside the points in the Mazda. He said he doesn't like driving meta cars, it's kind of showing. And then we got P12 for Zimmer. And Senior Fak still on these mediums, so he did do a medium strategy, but just didn't have the pace and fell really far off the back of everyone else. Going to finish P13 in the end for him. Peachy is Estonian. Oh, okay, well, we've definitely not had an Estonian win in this high. Let's have a look at the standings then. So, Claus is P1. He's got a 14-point lead over Deco at the moment. So, Deco closing the gap quite a lot in that feature race. So they've kept the gap fairly even on this round. And then Bottifamaro is a further 7 points back from Deco after his double podium. Jin is in 4th place. He's on 53 points, which is 44 points behind his teammate. And then Cameron, who was 2nd, didn't score at all here, so he is now 45 points behind Claus. Then we got Yuri, Higgsy, Hurricane, G-Dan, and Peachy, who's only raced in 1 round, is in the top 10 because of his P2 and his P1, and he got fastest lap as well. In the Constructors, It's all going Mercedes' way at the moment. So Claus and Jin in the AMG have 150 points ahead of the Lexus boys with 105. So 45-point gap there. And they're the only two over 100 points. The next is the M4, is still in third place with 89 points. And then it's the Porsche with 83. So yeah, the M4, Z4, BMW's names are so uninspiring. Yeah, anyway, it's the BMW. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. On that note, I will end the stream, and next week we're going to be in Dragon Trail Gardens where it can rain. So hopefully, I've got a wet race to commentate